Hey there, Adam here with another haul video. Wanted to share some fun stuff I just got in the mail from my friend Jason Gross, aka at Rediscover the 80s, at RD80s on social media. Of course, he's also the head of the Retro Network, so you can find him over there at TRN Social. We do a lot of collaborating and fun stuff together. But we're always thrifting together. Apart. He lives in a different part of the country, but we are constantly at the thrift store sending pictures back and forth to one another. Hey, do you need this? Do you need that? Because we host a show on the Retro Network on TRN TV on YouTube called the Thrift Store Horde, where monthly we check in and share our hauls. But on that show, he's always like, got this for you, and then I get it in the mail and it's in my hands, and there's usually a few extra goodies in there. So I wanted to show you what he sent me this time around. First off was just a sealed blank video cassette. Been running into a lot of these lately. I actually just got a full box of them, which is kind of crazy, but it was just nice. I did not have an RCA brand. I would like to kind of have a variety of different tapes, plus the fact that I recently at a thrift store was able to pick up a vintage late 80s camcorder, and so I could actually technically be filming on these blank tapes. But he also sent me some fun stuff that he found, just like unique X rentals and things like that. Look at this. This is called the MGM Cartoon Magic collection. But this is technically originally, let me see if I can get this open. This is like super hardcore, this case. So like somebody's trying to steal this in the store, they're not getting that tape out easy. Okay, but it's got the Be Kind Rewind sticker on it and all of that. But as you can see, it's an MGM UA, which means it originally came in a big box, one of those big cardboard boxes, and then somebody cut it down, put it in a clamshell case, and turned it into a cut box. But there's a lot of strange, like there's Santa cartoons, like MGM, to my knowledge, really, until they had like Tom and Jerry and stuff, their other collection of characters not known as like the most popular in the world of animation. So I'll be curious to check this out. Now, this is interesting. I collect RCA Columbia tapes, so whenever I see that insignia, I want it. I have quite a few of these music tapes, but what's interesting about this, Alabama, like, not a big band for me or my family. I didn't grow up listening to Alabama on the old turntable, but this still has the original plastic, even though it's broken, but you can see the RCA Columbia like seal on there. So I just thought that was really neat. Even if it's coming loose, it was still awesome to find that piece of history, because none of the tapes of that music collection that I have that style, or have that saran wrap, or shrink wrap, my bad. Saran wrap. Wouldn't that be great if they were just like saran wrapping all your videotapes back in the day? All right, here's another one. Interesting. I pick up a lot of screener tapes when I can. Number one, if it's kind of like a unique and obscure movie, they might be cheaper to get it as a screener than like a former rental or anything else. But also, you just get a lot of interesting marketing information about the movie. They like to tell you the stats, so that the video store owners back in the day would say, oh, that made, $5 million, that made $20 million. I better order, 3 or 4 tapes because everybody's going to want to rent it. But Life with Mikey with Michael J. Fox. This is just one of those later era Michael J. Fox movies, which is kind of weird. I don't know why I always get it mixed up with that Dickie Roberts, like, Happy Madison production, which is not so great. Of course, if you watch these haul videos before, I also collect CBS Fox tapes. So those are like the 2 logos I'm always looking for. This is a film I had never heard of, and Jason found for me, Dead of Winter. I'm actually trying to even see who's in this. Oh, it's a Mary Steenburgen and Roddy McDowall film. So that's kind of interesting there. I love Mary Steenburgen whenever I can see her in a movie outside of, the Back to the Future Part 3. Now, this one is cool, because this is a companion. This is Best of the Best. I've never seen this. I've always heard of it. I know a lot of people are aware of Best of the Best. I think it played on cable quite a bit. But I recently picked up a cut box of Best of the Best 2. So now I can actually watch the first 2 in what I think is a trilogy. Maybe it has 4 or 5 movies, like Kickboxer. Remember they kept making the non-Van Damme Kickboxer sequels with Cody from Step by Step. Anyway. All right, this is a big one, though. Jason knows, like, my interests and the things that really catch my eye. been picking up a lot of Power Rangers tapes lately, but I did not have this one, okay, where Jason becomes the White Ranger. I have some Green Ranger tapes. What's interesting about this is it says featuring a special music video in here. So it's just kind of fun how I don't know what the music video is. I don't know what the story is about that. I'm going to have to watch this, but I just love when they had little extras onto tapes, which probably weren't appearing, on the Fox network when they were airing the series. It's just like, oh, we made a music video, because they were pretty high on their soundtracks. I recently got a copy of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's like an audio adventure, but it's basically just taking all the soundtrack songs and mixing it in with some dialogue from episodes, which is kind of neat. All right, here's another one that was fun that Jason found. The making of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles behind the scenes. This tape has always cracked me up because it's saying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it was for the sequel. It was for Secret of the Ooze. I mean, you got Vanilla Ice right there. But for some reason, they didn't want to include that. Too much text, maybe? And actually, when Jason asked me about this, he's like, do you have this tape? And I was like, oh, you mean like the making of the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, which is one of my favorite things? He's like, no, this one. I was like, oh, I don't. So now my collection is complete there because I have all the other movies and a lot of episodes, those collections for Burger King and whatnot on VHS. Now, here is kind of the big thing for as far as a trade, because a lot of times Jason's just out of the goodness of his heart picking up these things for me. I pick up things for him. We just send it back and forth. We're not like negotiating. But this is one that he offered because I had a cut box of License to Drive in a clamshell. And then he said, hey, I have an uncut box, CBS Fox, that I know that you collect. So how about we just trade tapes? Because I just want to have it to watch. I'm not in it for the collecting. So just fun to get this Corey's movie in a much cleaner, slipcase version. So thank you very much, Jason, for this, because it's going to fit much more nicely, in my drawers of VHS tapes. Okay, one thing Jason also knows that I enjoy, we shared it recently on Thrift Store Horn, is Dick Tracy. So he found this piece of nostalgia here. If you remember going to like your local, and usually, I mean, they would probably have it at the pharmacy too, but I always think of going to the Hallmark store with my mom. There's a lot of cool stuff back in the day at stationery stores and things. And so Dick Tracy on a Dick Tracy licensed pencil. So that was just an extra. I have my Dick Tracy shelf just right next to me here. So he'll go right in there, be ready to roll. Also, sent me some audio cassettes because that's just been my thing lately. I found an old boombox, which was the style I had in my house as a kid. It wasn't mine, but I eventually, used it as mine. And so I've really been enjoying the stuff that I've had on audio cassette. So he sent me the Batman soundtrack, which get some Prince in you, you'll enjoy yourself. So I actually have another copy back there, but I think this is in much nicer condition. So thank you for that, Jason. But most important of all, and he teased me with this several months ago, Xanadu on audio cassette. Okay, so I have Xanadu on like Laserdisc, or it wasn't even Laserdisc when it was released, a different type of disc. But also like I have the LP, I have the soundtracks, I have the movie on Blu-ray, and multiple copies on VHS, DVD. I love this movie. It's just one of my favorite childhood films. So to now add this to the mix is very exciting. This is going to be blaring out of my boombox. Some, Electric Light Orchestra and Olivia Newton-John, rest in peace. So sad I never got to meet her. I really did want to meet her at some point in my life, only in my dreams as a kid. I literally used to dream about her. It was kind of strange when I was like 5. All right, last thing here that I wanted to share. I happened to go to a thrift store yesterday, and I was digging through the tapes, and this thrift store in particular I enjoy because they always just throw whatever got donated up on the shelves. They're not selective. Unless it looks like a collectible, then they'll look it up and put it in a case. But on VHS tapes, they don't care. And so they have a lot of home-recorded VHS tapes that come from there. This one in particular, I don't know if you can read that. It's kind of bleached out, but it says Lucy. Like, I love Lucy. That's what I was assuming. There was no other markings on the tape. It is a Fuji tape, so I love seeing that design. So I started flipping through this, and at least at the beginning of the tape, I haven't watched it all yet, is Johnny Carson's last Tonight Show, complete with commercials from 1992. So that was awesome. I have to believe that was a very recorded event, for all the people that watched him for 30 years on television and late night. But so that was very cool. But then also I found this one here. Okay, so this is a little bit later era Sony sleeve at least. And this one here on it says Overboard, not complete. Again, I think it's kind of bleached out, hard to read, but Overboard with Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell, one of my wife's favorite 80s movies. And so I was looking through it on there, and it is a cable broadcast, basic cable on TNT, but from 1999. So there's some great commercials on there as well. There's stuff with like Pokemon, Burger King, and all these different things. So I'm very excited to go through the rest of these tapes, but I love just sharing that. And once I get a chance, my computer is actually broken right now, but once I have my replacement all set up, I'll start transferring some of these, adding more to the channel here. But that's a good plug. You can go back and check all my 80s commercials, but I've recently come into a lot of 90s home recorded tapes that I'm going to be ripping commercials off of as well. Okay. Well, that's the haul. That's the haul for now. There is more to come for sure. And I do a lot of haul videos if you're into 90s comic books on my Wizards podcast channel for Wizards, the podcast guide to comics. So you can listen to the podcast. Also watch our video content where we get a lot of new things and collectibles from that era and share them. So there's stuff on the way that I will be doing there. But again, check out TRN Social, where I'll be on Thrift Store Horde sooner than later because I got a lot more stuff at these thrift stores that I'm saving for those episodes. So I invite you to join me if you want to find out more of my collections, just my daily postings about things that I find or that I have collected that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this. Check me out on Twitter at Hoju Coolander. But hey, until next time, we'll see you later.